Rental cars are one of those things that seems simple until you're actually booking one. Prices are all over the place, insurance is confusing, and there are a lot of little decisions that can quietly cost you hundreds of dollars without you even realizing it. Over the years, Joy and I have found some strategies that have literally saved us thousands of dollars. And today we're sharing everything we wish we knew when we first started traveling. Welcome to the Savvy Travel Moms podcast. If you are a mom who wants to travel more with your family without spending a fortune, you're in the right place. I'm Michelle, the bougie one.
Joy, the practical one. We are two moms with different travel styles, but the same savvy mindset. In our show, we will break down family-friendly travel tips, points and miles, and realistic strategies that fit into a busy mom life. From hotel robes and room service to free breakfast and budget wins, we will help you turn everyday life into unforgettable family memories.
Real moms, real travel, real strategies. Whether you're planning a big international trip, a family vacation, or even just a weekend getaway, today's episode is packed with practical tips that could save you a lot of money. So Joy, before we get into all of the rental car information, it's been a bit since we have recorded, so I think it would be fun to do a little bit of a catch up and kind of tell all of the listeners what we've been doing and what kind of fun plans we have this summer.
Well, Michelle, let's start with you because I can see partially painted walls behind you, and you have had so much going on in life, and we've actually not been able to connect and catch up. So
I know.
I miss my friend.
I know, I miss you too. And this is literally the way the house came. So we haven't done any painting. This is just the way the house came when we bought it. So this
Michelle,
isn't the color it's going to be.
So Michelle purchased a fixer-upper and has been collecting, how many points have you collected so far on all your renovation pieces?
I'm trying to think. I would say we did, what did we do? We did a 200,000 Amex Platinum. I think I've done two of those. That's 400,000. And then I'm working on the Amex Biz Gold for 125. So what is that for? That's like 525,000 points so far. And then, once we get rolling on the addition, we'll have even more points from there. But I would have a ton more, but surprisingly, most of the contractors or like people that we've used so far for things don't take credit cards. So that's been the frustrating part. We spent $5,000 on cutting down trees. That guy only took cash. We spent another $5,000 on the sewer lines, the drain lines or whatever outside. That was cash only. So we could have had way more points, but a lot of people that we're working with don't take credit cards. So that's a huge bummer.
That sucks. Well, thank God Home Depot does, right?
Exactly. I know. Oh, I know. But luckily we need to have more trees cut down, and the guy that's coming in a few weeks, I got more quotes this time, and this guy was the same price as the last guy, which works out perfect, and he does take credit cards. So he was going to give me a little bit of a discount if I paid cash, but I think I'm just going to pay with my credit card because $5,000 is a lot of money, and I hate to not get any points for that,
That's like almost a welcome offer right there in itself because so many minimums are like $5,000 to $8,000 spend anyway. Yep. So
exactly. So for me, I'd rather pay a little bit more. I don't want to do that every single time. Like I'm definitely going to have to pick and choose when I pay cash and when I use the credit card. But in this case, I really want to finish my my Amex Biz Gold still has like $6,000 or $7,000 that I have to spend on it. And I do have till the end of July, but we're also working on the Chase Sapphire Reserve. So, and I don't have any trips this summer. So I'm nervous that I won't be able to meet both of them without putting the trees on there. So I think if I was really close to meeting that minimum spend, I probably would just pay cash to save like the couple $100. But in this case, I think I kind of bit off a little more than I can chew because I thought we were going to be farther in the renovations than we are. So I got both cards thinking it would be fine, but I think now I'm like, okay, I probably do need to put the trees on there so that we can meet both of the welcome offers at the same time.
And I think you make such a good point, right? we are the points experts and we've been doing this for a long time, but I mean, we still even want to get as many points as we can and still make
Yep.
mistakes and still learn from those and still think things through and are like, oh, crap. But the most important thing at the end of the day, if you guys caught this in listening, is Michelle said paying cash. So, like, she has all the cash ready to cover
Yep.
all of these expenses because that is the goal, right? We don't put something on a credit card if we don't have it in our budget to begin with. And a home renovation is a perfect opportunity to get a new credit card because you have all these massive expenses that you've already saved and planned for. And then you
Yep.
just cover it that way. So that's amazing. And you guys went
Yes.
on a few little trips, right?
Well, we went to Hawaii,
Yeah, that's not a little trip.
and yes, that is that is a big trip. That's a big trip. And I think that's it. I don't think we've been on any other trips because we went to Hawaii sort of like middle of May. And then our next trip, Tyler and I will go to Big Sur to Alila Ventana at the beginning of September. And then at the end of September, we head to Europe for a 2 week trip with the kids. So this summer, I don't really have any trips planned. It's going to be just like the kids have tons of camps, and it would be kind of hard to travel right now anyway, and I like to travel in shoulder season versus like the heat of summer and like the big crowds. So I'm excited to kind of like focus on being home for a few months before we kind of get back out to our busy travel schedule again.
The life of a homeschool mom.
Yes, yes.
And here I
I
am.
know.
My travel season is ramping up. Oh my gosh. So I
Yeah.
My mom and I did a few conferences in May. We did two
Yep.
conferences. We actually spoke at one, and then I just got back on Monday um, from my cousin's weekend. So my cousins and I get together every other year and do like an adults only weekend. So I just got back from that, and then we leave on Friday as my family to go to Gatlinburg for a long weekend. And then we're going to be gone like half of July as well. We have my annual mother son trip. We're going to head up to Portland and Seattle and do the Pacific Northwest in July. And then in the end of July, mom and I are taking the kids to the Bahamas. So we're going to have 2 nights at Atlantis, and then we're going to have 4 nights at the Grand Hyatt Baha Mar. So we are going to have such a great summer. So when we are like fully ramped back up in the fall, we are going to have so many trip recaps for you guys to tell you how we did this because we have some great hacks that I've learned, especially for Atlantis, and I can't wait to test it out and then share with you how we did it for what it was really like.
So did you use your mom's points for the Atlantis, or are you not staying at the Atlantis?
So we are actually not staying at Atlantis.
Oh,
There
are
is
you
a
doing the one?
neighboring, yes, the neighboring hotel that comes with free access to Atlantis, and it's like the only neighbor hotel that comes with it. And so I'll have to let you know afterwards how it works out.
Okay, so it is that one that your mom told us about
Yeah.
before, right? Okay, so you're gonna stay there. Okay, because I was like, hold on. How did you get like 180,000 points a night to stay at the Atlantis? Like, where did you get your Marriott points? Because I want to
No,
stay at
I
the
don't have
Atlantis.
those.
It's like, hold on, I want to stay at the Atlantis too. So why have you been holding out on me that you are staying at the
You know
Atlantis?
I don't have those Atlantis
Yes.
points right there to stay on property.
Well,
So,
I'm excited to see how you like it because, yes, most of us are not going to be able to stay at the Atlantis. It just is what it is. Like the points are way too high and the cash is too high. But I've heard once you've done both, like Atlantis and Baha Mar, a lot of people prefer Atlantis. So I'm curious to
really?
see. Well, yeah, because which maybe I was in, I don't know if it was in a Hyatt group I was in or a Marriott group I was in, but I've just heard really mixed reviews about Baha Mar. Some people love Baha Mar and some people are like, I didn't love it, but they love Atlantis. So I'm curious to see if you like the water park better at Atlantis, because if you did, then staying at that other hotel would give families the ability to actually be able to do that since most people aren't going to be able to stay at the Atlantis.
I'll let you know in
Oh.
August when we
Okay,
kick
so you're
back
going
up
in
into like
August.
regular. So we go in the very end of July.
Okay.
Like the last week of July we're going. And then when you and I know right now our summer episodes are going to be sporadic just as we have time to
Yeah.
record. And so we're just going to cover some like hotter topics that we're working through. But then in August, we'll get back to routine sessions. And then at that
Yep.
point, we can do some of these amazing trip breakdowns because I want to hear so much more about Hawaii since I'm going to be
Yes.
recreating your Hawaii trip in March. Oh.
Yay. So exciting. Yay. Well, perfect. Well, let's get into today's episode. So,
Yes,
Joy has been needing some rental cars. So, we
I
thought it
have
would be
been.
really fun to kind of go through all of the nitty gritty details about rental cars. Because there's lots of little nuances to it and definitely different ways that you can save money on rental cars. And they can become a massive expense on a trip if you don't know how to do it the right way. So I think hopefully you guys are going to find tons of value in this and learn something new today about rental cars. So, Joy, why don't you start us off? What should we chat about first for the rental cars?
I kind of have a unique perspective on rental cars. They've never been something that I stress about or worry about or any of that because I used to, up until just a couple months ago, had a family member who worked for a major rental car company and always got the friends and family discount until he decided to go off and start his own business. So, now I no longer get that discount, and it was like an amazing discount. So rental cars were never anything I had to worry about. I never paid more than like $400 or $500 for a rental car for the week. And now here I am planning this trip to the Pacific Northwest with my son. We're flying into Portland, we're flying out of Seattle, but what we're going to do up there is we're going to go to Mount Rainier. We're going to go to Olympic National Park. We want to go maybe to Mount Hood, like maybe the Oregon coast. And there's so much to do. And I'm like, well, crap, we need a rental car. And I have been going down this rental car rabbit hole of, well, now I have to learn how to do all this. Like, how do I find the best deals? What do I do? Because they are literally coming up $1,200 to get a rental car for the week, and it is giving me so much anxiety because I did not account for that in my budget for this trip.
Yeah, $1,200 is insane. Like,
Yeah.
I wonder if it's because it's like peak summer, maybe, but
And
that's
it's two different airports.
crazy.
So we fly into
Oh,
Portland and we
that
fly
makes a
out of
difference.
Seattle.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that always makes it higher too. Yep, you kind of need to do like a round trip for the best price. But $1,200,
Mhm.
that's massive. That's crazy.
Yeah, it
So,
sucks a little
where
bit.
I'm trying to, so what did you find for this trip? Did you book a rental car yet?
I did. So I went down. First off, I asked on my Instagram page and asked all of my amazing followers and the other Points and Miles people that come, and they gave me a list of where to find some really good options, which I still may change if we find a better deal. Um, However, I ended up starting with my credit cards. So I went through all of my credit cards and was like, okay, which ones come with status and rental car perks and what's going to be the best deal that we have. And looking at those, some of the best perks are like the Hertz
Yep.
President Circle, which comes on the Amex Platinum and the Capital Venture X. And I'm trying to think what other cards it comes on, but those are the main two that the President Circle comes on. And the thing that really jumped out to me, and I ended up going this route, but there's so many other great savings ways that we're going to talk through that we learned as well. But the President's Circle on Hertz, if you have one of those super premium cards, comes with if you book like a midsize or a lower tier car, you'll get automatically upgraded to the next tier. So for now this can still change. I have a month to figure this out and I might find a better deal. But for now, I've secured a car with Hertz Gold and just did like the midsize sedan. And then I'm hoping that we can get upgraded to an SUV when we get there. And just did that President Circle. And I found it for like $900 because your card links also give you extra discounts. And then the other tip I learned is if you go in and price it out and you abandon it, then they email you extra discount codes.
Oh, so did you look for Hertz through? the what am I thinking? The Capital One travel portal too, so that you could use like your Venture X $300 credit.
I didn't because I actually don't have the Venture X. They will not approve
Oh,
me for it.
I thought
Um,
Justin had the Venture X.
we just have the Venture.
Oh, I didn't realize that. I thought one of you had the
Yeah.
Venture X. Okay, so you don't have the Venture X credit. Okay, and then I guess your only other option would be like your Chase Sapphire Reserve $300 travel credit. You could use it for a rental car if you didn't want to use it for a hotel.
Correct,
Okay.
but we've already used that credit.
You've already used it. Okay. So really, this is your only
But
option. This is the
and
only option.
I did cross-reference the travel portals to see if it was a better deal because we do have access to Capital One travel portal, the Amex travel portal, and the Chase travel portal. And those
Yep.
were actually a lot more expensive at the end of
Yes.
the day. So
Hmm.
that's why I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna just go direct and compare. And I compared like National, Avis, because the different cards come with different like discount codes and different status levels, that
Yep.
Hertz really ended up being the solid choice. Plus, like the other thing about Hertz that I like, and we risked this on one of our last trips that ended up working out really good, is I just got the manager special, which is
Yep.
so cheap per day depending on where you're at in the country. And you just show up and you'll get upgraded. So that's another option why I really chose Hertz. But there are some other things that we can kind of talk through and look at as well. Like one of the most popular options that kept coming up is Costco. I just have
Yep.
not purchased a Costco membership yet, which I plan on doing like this
Really?
week to go check out. Yeah,
I
I
didn't
know.
realize you don't have a Costco membership.
I don't. Sam's is
But
closer to my house, and I
I
just am a
think you
Sam's girl.
I think you could use my Costco membership. I wonder if you could just plug in my Costco number and rent a car. We'd have to look into it. I wonder if the names have to match, because if the names don't have to match, then you can just use my Costco membership because I don't care
Yeah,
if
we'll check
you
it out.
rent a car. That's awesome. Yeah, because I agree. I've heard a ton of people. I've never looked, even though I have a Costco membership, I've never looked at Costco for a rental car. Um, Kind of a hack that I use. I mean, we don't travel much in the United States, so this more works international. I did do this in Hawaii as well, but looking local for rental cars. So for Joy's case, I did mention this to her, and I don't know about like local companies in Washington. Like I said, I don't know that necessarily works here in the United States, but I always try to go local versus the big chains because usually they have the best deals. So, like when we went to Maui, as an example, they have a local rental called Kihei Rental Car. Local family owns it. They have their own rental cars, and it was only $250. Actually, it was $230 for 8 days for a rental car in Hawaii. So, like,
Crazy
yes,
prices.
yes, and I got the smallest clunker car. I don't care about luxury for like a rental
Yeah.
car, so like you definitely could spend more. I think a Jeep was maybe like $600 for the week because that's kind of popular for Maui, but I just want as cheap and basic as possible. And nobody could touch that. I couldn't find that with like Hertz or anyone else. And same when we went to Costa Rica, I used Adobe car rental. I'm pretty sure it's called Adobe. And that again is a local Costa Rican car rental company right there in Liberia. And when I looked at using like my $300 Capital One Venture X credit, nothing could touch Adobe. Like they were still the best price. So at least that would be a tip for those of you that have international trips where you're going to need a rental car. I first would Google, like, let's say you're going to go to London or something, like I would Google local rental car London and see if you can pull up any like smaller companies because I personally have found that they have the best deals versus the big chains.
That's amazing. I
Yeah, I
still
mean, for
can't
Maui,
believe
like, it's crazy. I know.
Okay, so now I know where I'm renting when we go to Maui for spring break 2027. And that's something you had said that to me, and I'm like, I don't even know where to start in Portland or Seattle. Because typically in the
Yes.
US, it is going to be
Yep.
those bigger chains. And the other thing I've noticed is it is harder. Like, one of the other tips we've heard people say is get away from the airport, like, go to a nearby place. But it gets harder to get the cars in some cities if you don't go to the airport, just because a lot of those other rental car places, like in the more suburban areas or whatever, don't keep the same type of inventory, and you have to reserve it a little
Mm.
bit farther in advance, because what they're giving out is
Yep.
people who are like in accidents, and they have all these deals with the repair companies, right? And so they
Yep.
just don't have the same inventory. So I've struggled with that too, because we've tried to do some of that before.
Yeah. And I mean, I definitely think it is slightly more of an inconvenience. So I think it just depends like what is most important, if it's
Hmm.
like saving money or convenience, because the same with Maui. Kihei is like a 25-minute drive from the airport. So you have to wait for them to pick you up and then you drive the 25 minutes to the rental car company. But for me, I would rather save $300 and spend more time going over to the rental car company. But someone else could be the complete opposite. And they're like, I just want to spend the extra money and I don't want to have to wait around for them to pick me up. I just want to get my rental car and go. So I think I agree with you. Like, I do think the best deals are going to be farther away. It's just
Hmm.
deciding for your family which is most important to you. Because I don't think you're going to get both. I don't think you're going to get the best deal ever and it's at the airport. I think sometimes you will, but in some cases, you're going to have to like pick one or the other.
Yeah, no, that makes complete sense. The other thing I thought about looking into for our trip, and ultimately it just felt like too much work, so I didn't do it, was using Turo and just using
Mm-hmm.
it for renting it for the day that we decide we want to go to Mount Hood or go to
Mm-hmm.
the waterfalls or whatever, and then taking the train from Portland to Seattle, and then using
Oh,
it for renting another one in Seattle for the day. But it felt just like a lot of coordination,
yes.
and then I looked at the prices on the train ride from Portland to Seattle, and they're still like $70 a person. So
Yep.
at that point, why not just have the rental car to have that convenience?
A hundred
Um,
percent.
so there were just all those pieces that I was outweighing for this trip for it.
Yeah. And another great one is AutoSlash. So that is a great website to help you save even more money for rental cars. And it's going to show you coupons and discounts and all that kind of stuff. And it can like, I'm pretty sure it can alert you when something changes. So like Joy, you could go in, put in that car rental reservation that you already have, and then it will alert you when that goes down in price, and then you can cancel and rebook. So that's another great way to save money, is to have something that's going to track that for you. So that way
Yeah.
you don't have to remember to every single week go in and see if the price has changed.
Yeah, AutoSlash is such a great tool for that perspective. Now, I know you can also find rental cards on like Expedia and Booking.com and those places too. But honestly, I mean, going direct is gonna be, from everything I've learned, to me, I kind of
Yep.
look at it like hotels, right? Going to direct at a hotel, you're always going to get the best deal, just like going direct to the car company.
100%. And the other thing I don't like about some of those websites like Expedia and things like that is a lot of times they are going to want you to pay upfront for the rental car. And 1,000%, we do not recommend that. You always want to go with a rental car company that is going to let you pay when you go to pick up the car. So that's kind of another little hack. Like, make sure you're not paying for anything upfront, because it's 100% not necessary to pay for your rental car ahead of time.
Yeah, because those websites sometimes they're non-refundable purchases too, not purchases, but
Yep.
rentals. And if you do say you're signed up for AutoSlash and you go into AutoSlash and it says, "Hey, here's a new code, here's a discount, like this is discounted."
Hmm.
If you booked through Expedia, you can't change it. So if you have it booked directly through Hertz or National or Avis or something like that, then AutoSlash can tell you it discounted. You can cancel it and then easily rebook it using that discount code or at the lower rate, and you're not missing out on anything. So that is really tough with those third party websites. And that's in general. That goes for hotels, that goes for flights, that goes for a lot of aspects if you're looking at those third party websites.
Yep. And another part of it I was thinking about too is you always want to go with the lowest cost, but also make sure you're reading all of the fine print with it too, because sometimes the lowest cost rental car isn't going to have unlimited mileage. And depending on what you're using it for, maybe that won't matter. But like Joy's trip is an example that she's taking with her son, to Washington, that's going to be a lot of driving. And if she was to go with one of those cars that doesn't have the unlimited mileage, more than likely she's going to be paying a ton more out of pocket at the end once they track how many miles that they drove. So that would be another thing that I would make sure to look at, is just make sure that it's unlimited mileage, because I would say 90% of them are, but there are a few, like when you're looking, that are not unlimited mileage, and that's how they get you. Is it looks really cheap, and then at the end it's going to go up hundreds and hundreds of dollars because you went way over the allotted mileage that they gave you.
You know what else I hate? Is all the extra add-ons at the end when you go to
Yep.
checkout. They're like, would you like to get a GPS for $15 a day? Would you like to
Yep.
prepay your gas for, I don't know, like however much money it is, 7, 8, $9 a gallon or something? Like, would
Yep.
you like to prepay tolls? Or all of those extras kill me because I have always been a sucker for the gas piece of it. And when we went to California and rented a car, I prepaid our gas because I'm like, I'm not paying $5, $6 a gallon in California. That's crazy talk.
Yeah.
We're just gonna prepay it. And come to find out, because we only had our rental car like 3 or 4 days, we never even needed to fill it up once. The whole, like, it would have been one tank of gas that probably not even a whole tank that wouldn't have even cost us what I paid to prepay our gas. So all of those things just add up so fast. But you know the number one thing that adds up the fastest that drives me crazy? Insurance. Because
Yep.
we think that we need to get all this extra insurance because our personal insurance that we have for our car isn't going to cover us. And when you really look at it, like that is one huge perk of having those travel credit cards because it covers where our personal insurance doesn't. It picks up
Yep.
that difference. And so if you're paying with a quality travel rewards card like the Chase Sapphire Preferred, the Capital One Venture, the Venture X, the American Express Gold, the American Express Platinum, the Chase
Yep.
Sapphire Reserve, the City Strata Elite, and I could go on and probably name a few more. But all of those cards come with rental car coverage, which means if you were to get in an accident and you paid for your rental car with that credit card, that they would cover the difference for you. So you don't need
Yep.
to get that supplemental additional insurance. And I think that is such a way that they get people too because people get scared. Everybody's scared of rental car companies. Like they're going to screw
Yep.
me over, they're going to find a scratch, they're going to do something. But your credit card will cover you.
Yep. And in some other countries, that extra liability insurance is required. So Costa Rica is an example where, because we had a premium credit card, they waived that fee. So if we would
Oh,
not, yep. So if we would not have paid, in that case, I was working on the Amex Platinum at the time. So it worked out perfect. So I paid with the Amex Platinum and it was going towards my welcome offer. But even if I wasn't working on a welcome offer, I would have wanted to pay with one of my premium cards because otherwise they would have charged me the liability insurance because in Costa Rica, it's required to have it. So you can't decline it unless you have a premium credit card that covers it. So that's some countries are going to be like that. So that would be another time you need to look ahead and be like, "Hey, what does this country require for rental cars?" And if you don't have one of those premium cards, it's going to be way better to get that premium card beforehand. Even though you're going to have that annual fee, you're going to get a bonus, you're going to have all this extra coverage, and then you're going to have it for later for future trips when you run into other countries that require you to have that extra coverage.
I mean, we could do a whole episode on trip coverage just on premium credit cards, I feel like, and talk about all the
So
amazing
true.
things that they cover for us and really
Yep,
pick up the gaps. But today the focus is rental cars. And,
it
that's
is.
something using the friends and family discount before, that was a piece that I couldn't waive. We had to pay that. It was just part of like the friends and family deal. And
Mm,
it pained me so much to pay it with every rental car, but I knew that we were getting a really, really good deal. It was easy. I didn't have to stress about rental cars. I didn't have to research or do any of that stuff. But it was also such a pain point for me because I hated paying it every time.
I know. I would not like paying that. That would be really frustrating for sure.
It was. Now, Michelle, I have a question for you.
Sure.
Are you a take photo and video of everything in the car person, or are you a whatever happens, happens person?
Oh, we document everything. We do photos and videos. So,
Really?
luckily, yeah, do you not do that?
We've always been a just whatever happens, happens person, which,
Really?
yeah, we've had really good luck. So moving forward, maybe we shouldn't. Maybe we should start documenting
Wow.
more.
So I've never ever had an instance where they came to me and said, "This scratch was you and we want you to pay for it." But like I never want to get in that situation. So we literally like Tyler does it. So he literally like he gets the top of the car, all of the sides, all the inside. He takes videos all around. So we always have that for every single rental car. And like I said, we've never needed it, but it's going to be really hard to fight them later if they come back and say, "You did that scratch, it's $600." And you have no proof that that scratch was already there. So
So
Joy, I am shocked
yeah,
that you
we've
don't do
never
this. I
done
am
it.
so shocked.
But in California, when we went and had our trip there, we got in our rental car and there was something in the center console that we had to actually call them and show them because it kind of threw us. I don't remember. Oh, I know what it was. It was like a little e-cigarette smoking device thing that was stuck in the bottom of the center console. So we
Oh
went and
wow.
documented it and we're like, this is not ours. You need to get it out. And then about halfway through our trip, and my husband always walks around the car and does a quick once over, but usually at the end of a travel day or once we get there, we just want to get in the car and go because the kids are melting down. We're hungry. We're ready to get there, whatever it may be, right? But about halfway through that trip, we were parked somewhere and we walked back up to the car, and one of the tires, like the back tire in the back end of the car, we noticed was covered in scratches. And Justin looks at it and he goes, "Huh, was that there before? Or did we just get hit?" And I'm like, I have no idea. I was getting the kids settled. I didn't pay attention. And so that was kind of our moment. Luckily, they didn't charge us for it, but that was our moment of like, maybe we should start being better about rental cars.
Yeah, because when you think about it, it's not you that you're really worried about, it's everybody else. All it takes is you go to the national park and you park your car and someone parks too close and their, 4-year-old slams the door open and hits your rental car, So a lot of times it's not really for you. Like if you're a responsible driver, it's just for all the other people around you that could accidentally do something and then it comes back on you because you're never going to see those people. You're never going to know that they did something and like try to find them and get their insurance to pay for it. And it all falls back on you if you don't have all that documented proof.
And that was our moment when we saw
Oh my
that big
goodness.
scratch and like dent on the back of the car. We're thinking, how did we miss that? Maybe we should have videoed it better.
Yes.
So, moving forward, I am now
Yep.
going to be much better at documenting just because that did give me a little bit of a anxiety panic moment when we turned that car in, you know? And I'm like,
Yep.
well, whatever. And then the whole toll piece too, like hitting toll roads. I hate prepaying tolls, but then again, you never know what they're going to charge you on the backside for tolls either.
It's
So I
true.
always get torn on tolls. So I've been sitting here researching, are there toll roads in Portland
Yes.
to Seattle? And I'm like, you know what? We're just going to do avoid tolls. I'm just going to set my GPS to
Yep.
avoid tolls and go from there because I don't think it's worth it to even prepay it or risk them billing us afterwards. So we'll just avoid them. And if we hit one or two, then we hit one or two. I don't know what else to say because that thing to prepay tolls, I want to say was $12 a day or something for a rental.
Oh, and that's a lot if you have it for like seven, it gets over $100 extra if you have it for 7 days.
So
That's crazy. Yeah, when we go abroad, I always pay the toll, like prepay the tolls, but I think they just come that way. So like when we were in Norway and we had the camper van, um, I don't think we had the option to not prepay the tolls. I think we had no choice, but they have this like scanner in the car, which maybe they do in Washington too. I don't really know how it works, but like we never once saw a toll, but I'm sure we must have went through one at some point. I mean, maybe we did it and like we paid extra for nothing, but like in other countries, I'm a little more cautious because the way they do things is different than how we do it here. Where we have where we have to drive through the
oh,
thing. So
not
you like,
anymore. They're
oh
taking
really?
those
Are there
away.
places?
It's
Oh
all
really?
license plate photograph now. Yeah.
See, we don't have tolls in Michigan. So like if we do, I've never seen one, but we do to go to Chicago, but in Chicago you still have to go through
The toll
the
booth.
like plate, the toll booth, and like you pay with the credit card. There's no person there, but there's a booth. So like I just very rarely encounter tolls. So they're going to take away that
They're
altogether.
starting to, yeah, because like, so my in-laws live in Orlando, and every time we go down there, we now just get them in the mail a couple weeks later, and they don't have,
Oh.
they're taking away toll booths. And then, when you and I went to Indiana back in December, and we met up there, I had to drive through some tolls, and I saw the sign that said like toll road, but I kept looking and I never saw a booth. I never saw like photo enforced or anything. And then a couple weeks later, it showed up in the mail, and I had to just pay it. So they are getting you by camera, like, so they have the cameras at the toll, and they're getting your license plate, and then they're billing you
Okay.
afterwards. So like in the rental car world, there's so many cities that are starting, like they still have the toll roads, but they're taking them away.
Oh.
And I want to say that was in Louisville that happened. But so now what they're doing is billing you. So if you're in a rental car, they're going to bill us
It's
the
not
rental
your
car.
address.
Yeah,
Yes.
and then the rental car is going to add their upcharge on it, which I'm sure will be something stupid, like $3 or $4 on top
Yes.
of the toll. Um, and yeah, and so that's how it is now. So I'm always so torn. I would love
Oh.
feedback from the audience here. Send us a DM, shoot us an email. What are your thoughts on the toll paying, like prepaying the tolls versus not? Or would you rather just say skip toll roads and take the scenic route?
Well, I think if it's really, really clearly marked, but if you're not going through a toll booth, how do you know there's a toll? What if you're like, oh, look, there's a bird, and you turn your head for a second? Do you miss the sign? Is there just one little itty bitty sign that says you went through a toll? Like, how do you know that you went through a toll?
In Louisville, I didn't actually know. There were two signs that I saw leading up to it, but I never saw it. When we go down to Orlando, a lot of those roads still have the actual booths there, but they're
Yep.
not using them anymore. So, like,
Yeah.
you're going on and off a toll road just because the infrastructure was already there.
Yes.
Um,
But think about that in Louisville. Like if you had a rental car and you didn't prepay your tolls, you wouldn't have known that you went through a toll. because you're not going to get it in the mail.
And I was on the highway, so there was no way around it. It's not like I could get
Yeah.
off. I mean, I guess I could have gotten
Yes.
off and put in no tolls on my GPS, but it was just that like one section of highway in Louisville that was like,
That's
here, you got
weird.
to pay a toll to cross this road. And
Yeah. So it
even though
almost
you're on
does in that.
Interstate 65,
Yeah. So in that instance, it almost does seem like you would need to pay ahead because otherwise, how are they going to, unless the rental car company is going to send you an email 2 weeks later that says you owe us an extra however many dollars, maybe?
they probably have it set where they just charge your card.
That's
Like
true.
there's probably something in the fine print that says if you don't prepay tolls, we will charge you this toll plus
A
whatever
fee,
percentage
probably.
markup.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I would assume they're just charging your card and then sending you an invoice for tolls afterwards. But
Yeah.
I mean, it I started to go down the rabbit hole of like how many toll roads exist in Portland and Seattle, and is there a toll
Crazy.
booth? Can I pay at a toll booth? Like trying to research all that information. After about 45 minutes of realizing that it was a much bigger rabbit hole than I wanted to go down, I just finally said in my head, okay, I'm not going to prepay this, and I'm going to either risk it knowing that hopefully we'll have very few toll roads, or
Yep.
put something in my GPS that says avoid toll roads and then just take the scenic route.
No, I think that's a great idea because we do that with Chicago too. When we go into the city, we can do either like tolls or avoid tolls. And usually it's a 20-minute difference. So it's 20 minutes more to avoid tolls. So sometimes it just depends what mood we're in. We're like, yeah, we'll pay the 15 bucks, through all the tolls we go to save 20 minutes. Or sometimes we're like, we're fine. We'll just go take longer to go or whatever. So you might want to plug it into your GPS now, just for funsies, this place to this place, and
Oh,
then
that's a good
see
idea.
how longer it is because some of those the scenic route that's not going to have tolls could be way longer. So you might want to double check before you go because if it's like an hour difference, well, you might want to pay the $7 in tolls and try to look everywhere for the signs so you don't miss it.
Yeah. Gotta love rental cars because I feel
Oh my
like
goodness.
that
Yeah.
is the one piece of the whole trip that pains me the most. Because you
It
can
is.
get, like such amazing deals on
Oh,
hotels and
yeah.
flights and have a killer deal on everything else for your trip. But if you're going somewhere where you just cannot avoid a rental car, it
Yeah.
sucks.
Well, it does because it's a massive expense, especially in your case. I mean, $1,200, right? Like that's
Yeah.
huge. So if your goal was to get your flights for basically free, especially if you're flying Southwest, right? It's just you and your son, you're at like 20 bucks and then your hotels are covered and you're like, "Hey, I think I could do this trip for under $1,000." Oh, well, actually, it's going to be $1,200 for just the rental car. And then all of a sudden, like a cheap trip again becomes an expensive trip,
Yeah.
So it really does suck when the rental cars are really expensive.
And then you look at that in a points value, you're like, I could use my points for it,
Yep.
but that's 100,000 points. I
Yeah.
can do so much more with 100,000 points
Yes.
than waste them on $1,000 rental car. Like, so do I just eat that rental car cost? These are the things that happen in my head with every trip I plan.
Well, no, I feel the same way for our trip this fall when we go to Europe. We're doing an RV again. And I used 100,000 of my Capital One miles to erase the entire RV purchase well, it was like I had
It's also
flights
your
and
hotel.
I guess you're right. I guess, yes, I guess you're right. But literally, like 3 weeks after that, they announced that they had the partnership with Japan Airlines, and they had the transfer bonus and all these really good things. And you can actually fly so many places through Japan Airlines besides just Japan. And I'm kicking myself because I could have gotten a really good trip out of those miles if I would have transferred them to Japan Airlines. But it doesn't matter. But again, it was like at the time, I really wanted free because the taxes and fees on the flights to come home were kind of expensive. So I was like, I don't want to have really high taxes and fees on the flights and on the RV. And then, because then it is a really, really expensive trip, right? And that defeats the purpose of going if that's what our goal is for it to be as little out of pocket as possible. So at that time, I'm sure it still in the end was the right decision, but it
It
was
was.
just sometimes you kick yourself after and you're like, oh, should I have saved the points and paid cash, so you just got to decide, and every situation's going to be different, but just remember, once you pay it, you can't get them back.
That is
Once they're
so
gone,
true.
they're gone.
I know. That is so true. So, so, so true. Now I just have
Yep.
to decide what I'm going to do.
Yeah, I
The
know.
good news is on this trip, though, is it's not just my son and I. So we have another mother-son friend. Long story
Oh,
short, his best friend moved away when they were in third grade. And they still FaceTime all the time. They were like our best friends as parents, right? Our kids are all the same age. We just developed this amazing relationship. And that was our one way to keep the boys together. So in fourth grade, we started this. So this will be our third trip. When they were in fourth grade, we started this because of the National Park Pass. And we met in Grand Canyon. So we did our whole Grand Canyon trip together as our mother's son pair. And then last year we did New York, and then this year we're doing the Pacific Northwest. So I will have someone to split the cost with a little bit, but it's
that's
still just
nice.
pretty painful to split it. But then I also have someone to split the driving because, when you get like in
Yes.
places like that, you're driving a lot more than you think you are.
Oh, it's a ton of driving out that
Yeah.
way. I haven't been yet, but that's been one of the drawbacks is nothing's close to each other. So it is
Mm-mm.
lots of driving to get from place to place there. So that's going to be great. Do you guys all share one hotel room, like two queens, or do you get your own rooms?
No, we shared all.
You share.
It's just, yeah, like,
I
there are
love
very
that.
few friends that I think I would want to like really travel with and share rooms with
Yeah.
and stuff, and this is one of
Yep.
them. And we just have so much fun together. The boys love being able to spend time together since they FaceTime,
Aw.
especially now this summer, they're FaceTiming daily.
Yeah.
But
Aw.
so it's just so much fun that we do. And usually, because I've taught her how to do points, we'll kind of split up the hotels a little bit in points. Or if she doesn't have enough points, then I'll do points where I can. And
Yeah.
we can definitely do a full breakdown on it in the fall afterwards because
Yeah,
it'll be
that's
one of the cool
cool.
trips. But yes, I
I love
stacked
that.
my edit credit and the IHG credit on the Sapphire Reserve to get us like some bougie nights at the Kimpton, which I'm super
Yes.
excited about using the secret password at Kimpton. Um,
Yes. What Kimpton are you staying at? Which one?
it's in Portland. I'd have to look up because there were a
Okay.
couple, so
Kimpton in
I don't
Portland.
fully remember. But
No, that's awesome because I've been trying to figure out where I'm going to use my credit because I agree. I want to try to stack it to do like the
Mhm.
4 nights so that way I get, the $500 edit credit, $300 travel credit, and the $250 IHG credit. So I've been trying to figure out somewhere where I could go for 4 nights to try to like put them all together. So I
Kimpton
like
Seafire.
hearing. Well, yes, I would love to, but it still is. I looked for funsies, but it still is $6,000. So then you take off the $1,000, and like I still don't have $5,000. So it has to be a
I
little
get it.
cheaper than the Kimpton Seafire. But I would love to go back there. I just need to get more IHG points to go back to the Kimpton Seafire. Aw.
Feel you. All right, so Michelle, final takeaways. We'll wrap up this episode. If you remember nothing else from today's episode, remember these few things. Book early because you can get better deals. Recheck your prices. So make sure that you book like direct or in a format where you can cancel so you can recheck your prices. Use AutoSlash to track your pricing for you. And then understand your credit card coverage That is the huge piece because it can also save you a ton of money in the long run. And lastly, learn from me, take pictures before you drive away, document it all so you're not questioning down the road if you made that dent, if it happened while you were parked, or where it came from. So,
Love it. Hopefully, this episode saved you some money and helped you avoid some of the mistakes that we've made over the years. If you found this episode helpful, we'd love it if you take a second to leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform. Those reviews really help more people discover our show. And if you know someone who's planning a trip, share this episode with them. We appreciate you listening, and we'll see you next time.